Now, today we are here for the Chinese Grand Prix. Now, if you want to know how this happened and why we're at China for round 2, then I explain it all in the first episode of Season 2 at Bahrain. So go check it out, guys. The previous episode will be linked up in the top right. But basically, long story short, TLDR, we have replaced Russia with China in the Season 2 calendar. Now, this weekend we have no changes to the progression chart. We have a car that's exactly the same to the first race, but we do have some big upgrades on the way, especially on the engine. But overall, a pretty balanced package on the way. One for the chassis and one for the engine being major, and then an extra minor one for the engine as well. This weekend though, we have a lot of rain for the race, so this could be a very spicy Chinese Grand Prix and a very exciting return to this event, which I'm very much looking forward to. I'm not a big fan of China, but compared to Russia, I'm very happy to race here, and I much more enjoy this circuit compared to the Sochi Autodrome, and also just help freshen up a little bit and change things up to break up the consistency, let's say, in the calendar. I think that's going to be a good thing for us. So yeah, we went through practice and kind of got reacclimatized to the Chinese Grand Prix circuit, and we had a pretty decent practice session hitting all of our targets, and generally speaking, things look pretty good. So we're going to head into qualifying and see if we can try and do better than Bahrain and get out of Q1. That's going to be the target, of course, like always. And last season, surprisingly, Season 1, we got out of Q1 in the first 3 races. So far, we got knocked out in Bahrain, so I don't want to make it 2 in a row, and I want to try and get through again. So here we are at the end of my first time lap, my banker lap in Q1, and to be fair, it was actually a very good lap. I was really happy with it, making our way through the final corner, which now the bollard has been replaced by a bit of a high curb, and across the line we go. We sit at mid 29, we go P7 ahead of Latifi, Schumacher behind Ocon and Giovinazzi, and by the time we went on to our last lap, we're currently P16, but Daniel Ricciardo is P22, so expect him to improve. Either way, let's go for a full lap of China, and hopefully you guys enjoy the lap. Oh no, unfortunately we've just thrown it away. We've had a very scruffy lap and we just haven't made it work. The lap started off so well, we was actually finding a lot of time, but a couple of mistakes and it cost us quite dearly. So unfortunately it's going to be game over for us and a second consecutive Q1 elimination. We finished in P17. I don't think I could have got out of Q1 though, realistically, even without the mistakes on a perfectly clean lap. I think Giovinazzi was just a little bit too far ahead, and I don't think I had 3/10 in me, to be honest with you. But worth noting, George Russell and Mick Schumacher have 5-place grid penalties, so we'll hopefully gain a place on the grid tomorrow. So fingers crossed we'll start the race from P16 for the Chinese Grand Prix, but still, that leaves us with a lot of work to do. So I'm going to be banking on some serious pace in the wet weather conditions.
The Chinese Grand Prix then is upon us once more, a race that saw Michael Schumacher claim his final Formula One victory in 2006, as well as Red Bull's first with Sebastian Vettel in 2009. There's no doubt we've got plenty more drama to come here in Shanghai. We start a lap here at Shanghai with the long, difficult right-handers of turns 1 and 2, the first of 16 corners that make up this 3.3-mile circuit. The incredibly long back straight provides the best passing opportunity of the lap, with speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour before the braking zone of turn 14. Alongside me once again for coverage of today's race, it's none other than the great Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Mercedes. We have a number of changes to the aerodynamic regulations this year, and the signs haven't looked good for them so far in terms of getting to grips with those changes.
It doesn't look promising for them so far. And if the new regs have hit them as hard as we think, well, I suspect they may need a few late nights at the factory to get back on track.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday and will start from pole position. And Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Bottas, Max Verstappen and Vettel, Perez, Stroll, Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, Gasly, Ocon, Kimi Raikkonen and Tsunoda, Giovinazzi, Martinez, George Russell, they've taken a grid penalty, and Nicholas Latifi, Mazepin, Lundgaard, and Mick Schumacher. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Now, usually mixed conditions races tend to be the absolute classics, and that's what we have here today. So we've got a bit of a mixed up race. First and foremost, we're starting from P16. Now, in terms of strategy, we're going to start in the mediums. The plan here is to try and get to the intermediates straight away, not have to box for another set of dries, which is what I'm kind of banking on this race, that everyone in the top 10 on softs will hopefully do. If we can avoid that, we're going to be looking pretty good this race. So, also to go with that, fuel-wise, 1.2 negative. The reason for that, a lighter car at the start of the race, and also I tend to save fuel in the wet conditions quite easily, so we can afford to go quite aggressive and low on fuel here because we'll save a lot just driving in the wet conditions anyway, because you tend to short shift, lift and coast, and just generally drive a lot slower. So I'm looking forward to it. There's a massive opportunity here today and I intend to take it. So very interesting weather forecast. It looks like rain in about 10 minutes and then it's actually going to drop again at the very end. I don't think we'll actually be on the full wets, even though there's some heavy rain in there in the middle of it. I don't think we'll actually go into the blue tyre. And I think it's going to be a massive chance for us to get some points. First and foremost, though, we have to survive and try and run at a good pace on these medium tyres. So let's jump into it. I'm very excited. And often enough, let's say, these kind of races produce classics. So let's jump into it. Okay, here we go then. We're going to get 5 red lights at the Shanghai International Circuit. And it's going to be lights out. Away we go. Good start. Giovinazzi struggling there on his hard tyres to get a good start. Into turn 1 we go. We're going to have a look on the inside here, but 3 wide with Tsunoda, Ocon and Raikkonen. I'm trying to find a bit of space, but there's nowhere for us to really go here. We're just going to have to be patient. Ocon there having a bit of contact with Tsunoda. I think we may have just hit our front wing against Ocon's rear tyre. Yellow flag, but I'm going to go for it. Oh my god, there's a load of debris coming from behind. And Latifi's out.
The virtual safety car has just been deployed due to a build-up of debris on the track. There have been further incidents out on the track, so the officials are moving to a full safety car.
Well, there it is. So, originally a virtual, it's switched to a full safety car. And that might help the people on softs, you know, for the rain to arrive a bit quicker. It's already raining, actually. I can see some raindrops. So we have a full safety car here, so we may be going on to the inters already. I'm going to select the intermediates. I'm going to keep an eye on the weather forecast. Let's see what it's saying.
Rain is imminent. Rain is imminent. Be careful out there. The forecast suggests this rain is going to keep getting stronger for at least the next 15 minutes. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
Okay, so let's see how this rain picks up. It could be a crucial phase though. Who's going to pit and who doesn't pit? It feels like it's getting quite wet already, to be honest. We'll have first call on the pit stops, of course, as we are the first car. The only issue is I've realised I've started this race and I've got no force feedback in my wheels, so I can't actually feel when the track is getting wet. Little Easter egg for you guys there, but I've just literally done the 5 lights and I've realised I've got no force feedback at all. So, yeah, cars are pitting already. I think we're going to... Do we go for it? And I'll stay out for one more. And it's only Stroll, so I'm guessing Stroll has damage. But we'll probably pit next lap, I reckon. It could be this lap right now for the Inters. We'll see how the rain gets on. I'm going to go now and fix my wheel. So the rain is starting to pick up. I'm going to pit this lap. I've now got full speed back so I can actually feel how the track feels. So far it feels fine. You could probably drive on this with dry tyres, but I'm being realistic here. We have to weigh up the options we have and the offset. If I have to take a bit of pain on the intermediates on a dry track after the safety car restart to avoid having to lose 25 seconds in a pit stop, then it's probably worth it. So we're going to go ahead and box this up. The question is anyone going to pit with us?
Right, come in at the end of this lap.
No, no one's in. So it's a free pit stop for ourselves. We're going to go for those Inters and we're going to roll the dice here. Into the pit lane we go. No need to go too crazy with the speeding. Run the safety car. All I've got to try and do though is not burn the Inters up. So let's see how that goes. Latifi and Russell out the race, of course, the two former teammates. Russell now at Alpine this season. Into the pit box. Onto the Inters as we go.
Go, go, go.
And there it is, 1.9, away we go. So,
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres.
let's see how this works out. Have we done a madness? Have we called a masterstroke? Or is this going to be like one of them funny bits of rain where it keeps falling but the track is just staying dry? We'll find out shortly. Okay, safety car in this lap. I'm being very cautious. I'm trying not to take too much out of my tyres, but already 3% just on this out lap already. I do feel like the track is still on the dry side, but it won't be long. I think this is the right call. We just need to be patient and survive maybe a lap or two. I could be wrong. Maybe all of the AI pit now. It's hard to judge under safety car speed. Maybe once we're at full pace, we'll get a better idea of what's happening. But here we go then. Race gets back underway. No one's pitting yet. Oh, actually, no. Okay, a few cars now going in. So half the grid has stayed out. The other half have gone in. It's almost like a trigger point. So that was the trigger. I think we've nailed this in that case. But yeah, literally half the grid has stayed out and the other has gone in. So
At least another 10 minutes until this rain evens out. Stay alert out there.
let's try and see what the pace is like. I'm going to be a bit cautious at first. There's no need to push like crazy. We've got pretty much a full pit stop advantage over everyone, so we can afford to ease these tyres in slowly and just feel the track conditions out a little bit. Schumacher ahead, we'd use that as a guide in terms of, you know, what the track is like and what we're like pace-wise. Feels like, yeah, it's definitely Inters now. DRS.
DRS has been disabled by the stewards. DRS will be offline.
I was going to say, I didn't see DRS disabled, but there we go, confirmation of it anyways. Let's see if I can get Schumacher here and dispatch of him before we get stuck behind him in a crucial area. So now I predict the race to stay like this, I think, and we probably will go back to dryers. That's what's going to happen, I think. Up the inside of Schumacher here, using the intermediates to our advantage. And now we're going to wait because the rest of the grid is going to pit now next time we cross the line, and we are going to be in the net race to lead. And there's going to be some cars that have to take some pain. For example, there's two McLarens, two Mercedes, two Ferraris out there right now. So are they going to stack them or are they going to let them go another lap? That's the question. One of the cars of each team is going to have to take some pain. Looks like they're keeping them out there, so they're not going to stack them. So one McLaren, one Mercedes and one Red Bull and one Ferrari stay out. So we're going to move up into the top 5 this race. Let's see how much of a gap we have though. Cross the line. And there's confirmation, P5. And looks like everyone's going to switch to the Inters now. So we've got full control of this race. It's in our hands. And there we go, the final cars are going to pit. And therefore, officially, we take the race to lead here at the Chinese Grand Prix. We set another personal best in the process. And now we're just going to try and keep a good pace. Lando's already caught me out by a couple of seconds on this lap alone. We'll see who the car behind is. It should be Lando. And it is. He's 10 seconds behind. He was 12 seconds when he left the pit exit. So he's gained 2 seconds on his out lap already. I've got to try and find some pace right now. I'm a little bit cautious, I think. But I'm willing to really push. I don't want to throw this away or make a mistake. Now, this was a much better lap. I've moved the brake bias to 55. And I've found a lot more pace. First warning for track limits though, as we run a bit wide at the final corner. But look at that, a full second faster. That's a lot more like it, and that's the kind of pace we need. Let's try and keep pushing here. Another personal best. I'm just trying to keep that pace up. Right now, we're in the mid-43s. Lando is literally a second a lap faster. So he will catch us, of course, and be on the back of us. But right now, this is a sustainable pace from me. Obviously, we're going to have a bit more tyre wear as we run into these tyres a little bit earlier than everyone else. So we're going to have to probably manage that later on. So ideally now, I want to try and stay on these tyres pretty much the entire stint and then just go back to the dries if we have to. If that's the next step, that's what I'd like to do. If we have to box for inters, I plan on going to the end of the race on those inters. Oh, that's what I'd like to do. This is good. I think the track's improving a little bit. Dare I say it could be getting drier? I'm not sure. I'm still waiting for that heavy rain, which hasn't really arrived yet, so I don't want to get too ahead of myself. The rain will arrive ahead of schedule, but will it dry up ahead of schedule? I'm not so sure.
The rain looks like it's going to be getting much lighter over the next 10 to 15 minutes. There should be more grip, but don't expect a dry track.
So there's confirmation then. It is now heavy rain. The rain has picked up officially, so this might be the worst of it. So we just got to drive through it, which to be fair, I mean, it feels fine. It just feels like it's ideal for the inters, but it should start getting dry from this point as we approach half race distance. It's going to be a race against the clock now to see when it transitions to fully dry conditions. But at the minute, we're holding in there. Lando's not as fast anymore. I think I'm starting to hit my stride a bit. I'm just being super consistent with my lap times. I'm not dropping at all. I'm being very, very metronomic with my pace. I'm matching my personal best every lap, and that's really starting to help us out. And the gap is kind of stabilising.
The track is clear.
Yellow behind. Verstappen slowing down. I can see it on the minimap. I wouldn't want a safety car now after all the hard work we've done. I don't really want that. But Verstappen drops out. That's going to help our podium chances even more because I'm the same pace as Sebastian Vettel. So with Verstappen out, that's going to really, really help us out.
Some information on Verstappen. They are out of the race.
So there it is, confirmation of the retirement. Had a bit of a scruffy final sector there, but this is going to help our chances of a podium massively now. This is the hardest the rain's come down on the whole race. It's really chucking it down. 6/10 off my personal best on that lap. Pace has dropped off a little bit. So the rain is starting to make its presence felt. But it's still very much drivable. I don't think we need full wets.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
Oh. Full wets.
Got that confirmed?
Well, I didn't even get a chance to select it, but the team's saying full wets. That's very interesting. What's my tyre wear saying? 52%. We may have to go for this, you know. Okay, so we're going to box. We should not lose too many places, but we'll get our stop out of the way. We're going to go for the inters again. This is me preempting the strategy, looking at the weather forecast. The AI may go for the full wets. They may have more pace at first, but we'll have an advantage. Hamilton pits, Lando doesn't. Interesting split of strategy there. So even if the AI are faster than us on full wets, again, they may overtake us. They're going to have to go back to the inters at some point, and we'll already be on those tyres, so we'll have that advantage. Hamilton does go for the full wet.
Complete, go now.
We're going for the second set of inters. We're going to roll the dice here.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
Fresh inters. Fresh grooves into the tyres. It should give us a bit more grip and just a bit more better performance. Obviously, we won't be as fast as a full wet, but I think I can make this work. I feel confident. The car feels okay. So I just got to try and manage things a little bit, but I don't think we'll be a million miles off the pace. Second warning for track limits. Got to be careful now for the rest of the race. We have gained on Hamilton though, 7.8. I think that's more than the gap that we had going into the pits. So Lewis has lost a bit of time. He's not really gaining on me that much either. So this has worked out really well so far. Lando's in the pit lane. Ricardo's going to go in as well, so...
We've seen a couple of moments from other cars in the last lap or so. The intermediates are definitely starting to struggle. Might be time to move on to the full wets.
We'll see about that, Jeff. I feel confident in my call. Let's see what Lando is. He's gained a bit of time on us. There he is leaving the pit exit right now, so he's definitely gained in the crossover. We're going to see what kind of pace he has now in the full wet. But right now, we've got about 5 seconds on Lando, so we've actually the gap stayed the same. So I think this has worked out okay for us. I think this is the better call. I trust my gut feeling.
The rain is getting lighter now, but it's going to take a while for the track to dry out.
And there we go. What a call. Just driving through the wet phase on the inters is going to be the way to go. Oh, I can't get out of the way, mate. Come on. Move. It's costing me so much time. Ocon on cold tyres, leaving the pits. We've lost a full second to Lando almost there. Just get out of the way, please. There we go. Can't afford to lose time right now.
We've been awarded a time penalty. It will go against our finishing time at the end of the race.
Damn it. Just a bit too cocky there. I was just about to say it's just changed. The weather has now dried up quite a bit. The rain has suddenly completely stopped pretty much. And now we're pulling away from Lando and co. So we're actually building a gap now. So we've nailed the strategy this race. And to be fair, the penalty I don't think will get in our way. We can win this now. We've just got to make sure we make no mistakes and keep it clean to the end. And by mistakes I mean obviously spinning or crashing. Penalty isn't going to do much for us at this stage. So we'll probably have a full pit stop advantage over everyone else behind once they pit for the inters again. We've now just got to try and manage these tyres and get them to the end, or be prepared for a switch to dries if we get that far into this race. But there we go. Lando staying out a bit more. Interesting.
The radar's showing a clear patch on its way. There's about 10 more minutes of this rain.
There we go then. So, rain is going to clear. We're going to lap our teammate. And the gap to Norris now over 4 seconds. It's intermediates time, but who's going to bite the bullet? Are the AI going to go for it? If not, we're just going to have an advantage for the rest of the race in these tyres, so we can relax a little bit. Let's see, will Lando pit? No, he stays out. Wow. Hamilton as well. Everyone's staying out. Very surprising. Well, the gap's going to keep growing because it's fully intermediates now. I can't believe that AI didn't pit on that last lap. I mean, this lap now, we're absolutely flying. You can see the gap to Lando over 6 seconds. I'm on for a personal best by about 3/10. So, you know, we are faster than ever right now in these tyres. I just don't understand why the AI are firming it on the full wet so much. We set a personal best, so we are in full control. Lando still doesn't pit. Or Hamilton, or our teammate. No one's pitting. What is going on? Another personal best, and this one's a big one. 7.5 tenths faster. The track is fully inters. I don't know why the AI are not pitting, but it makes no sense. Well, hello there, Christian. How you doing, mate? Good to see you, but blue flag, please. If you could just get out of my way. I'm coming through here. Sunshine. On a personal best, so please don't hold me up. I know we're not teammates anymore, but please don't ruin my race. I think we're going to be on dryers pretty soon. And the AI are still insisting on the full wet, which is insane to me, but we're not too far off dryers, so we'll try and see if we have to go onto those. I'll decide. Again, no need to risk unnecessarily and, you know, commit to these. Because if the AI firm it on the full wet, we can just go onto the dry and get back past anyway. Last lap of the race. I'm going to try and see if I can pick up the fastest lap as well. Let's bring this home. DRS enabled. The track has dried up. So it'd be time for dries now. I don't think we're going to get it. We need a 41.9. I'm only a 10th up right now. But here we go then. For the final time. Into the hairpin. Trying to still push, but I don't think we're going to get it. But guys, leave a like for this. This is history right here. In Season 2, at the returning Chinese Grand Prix, we win our first ever race.
Thank you. I need a moment.
That's a race win. You've really been great today.
And with that, we wrap up yet another incredible Grand Prix weekend. Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
Rain always has the potential to liven up a race and mix up the order, and they've taken full advantage of that to claim the victory today. It's always a bit of a lottery when the conditions are like this, but they've managed to stay on circuit and have come out on top.
The faces on our top three look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all.
Now, how good does that look, man? Look at that. On the left-hand side, there we are. Race winners in Formula 1. Jeez, come on. W's in the chat. But a big, big win for us. Even with a time penalty, nothing could stop us. The strategy in this race was absolutely perfect. I called it. at the safety car, going onto the inters, and then in the heavy rain conditions, firming it, going for the inters again, and trusting my gut decision. What a win. We pick up a full 25 points. Lando Norris P2 ahead of Lewis Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel P4 for Aston Martin, Charles Leclerc P5 for Ferrari ahead of Stroll, Ricciardo, Bottas, Gasly and Perez picking up the final point for Red Bull and the fastest lap. Missing out on the top 10, Sainz, Raikkonen, Tsunoda, Schumacher, Lundgaard, Mazepin, Ocon, Giovinazzi, Barnes, and then Verstappen, Latifi and Russell out of the race. So, after 2 races, we are 3rd in the World Drivers' Championship. Obviously, that's not going to last, but still, drink it in. We are P3, only 4 points off the top as Hamilton goes top of the standings. And in the Constructors, thanks to that win, we move up into the top 4. Now, this is a bit more realistic for now. Ferrari, AlphaTauri, Red Bull, all stuck on 10 points. We've got a few points in our pocket, so we can probably hold on to this for a couple of races. So, let's see how that goes. But anyway, guys, an absolute instant classic here in China. The actual on-track racing was non-existent, but the strategy and just the occasion was massive. What a return to the calendar for China, and we are now a race winner in Formula 1. Anyway, let's move into upgrades and let's see what we can do moving forward.
Well, looks like your luck has changed. Things went a lot better than last weekend, didn't they?
Oh yes, they did indeed, and I think a lot of it was just strategy. I think we worked hard, we timed it well. The car felt great this weekend, especially in the wet conditions. We made a car that was tailor-made for the rain, and it paid off. I don't think last weekend was bad luck. I think we had a great race last weekend. I think that's a little bit harsh for what we achieved. I think we had a great race in Bahrain, but definitely today, all the work's paid off, and especially I think on the chassis, I think that part of the car feels great in these conditions.
You're beating all expectations. Would you say we all underestimated you?
I think you underestimated the team, and that's the key area for us.
Appreciate your time.
Well, there we go. Another race in the books and another weekend where we're actually holding our own against Sergio Perez. So not too bad. Only 2 points behind him right now, and we can fight this one. I think if we keep pushing, you never know, we might give Perez a couple more issues and a few more problems here and there. But after that race, you can see in terms of acclaim, no changes, but getting very close to leveling up now to level 15 as a team, which is what we want to unlock that extra 3rd sponsor, which I'm hoping to get very, very soon. We get a full payout from our sponsors, and then some minor damages here and there, but nothing too big. And in general, another positive weekend in terms of cash flow as we increase our total to $10.5 million. Now we're back in the office and we've got quite a few things actually. We've got some pistons on the way on the 14th, we've got some resource points coming in on the 12th and the 19th, so a few more to help us out in terms of upgrades. But first of all, we're going to jump into activities. We've got a season break coming up, so we've got plenty of time to get some work done here. So first and foremost, we're going to go for a supplier HQ tour, which is going to give us more team acclaim and resource points. Along with that, we're going to go for a team building exercise, which is going to help us out massively in terms of improving morale. After that, we're going to go for some driver promotion filming to improve my own acclaim. And I think we can pretty much go for all of these. Aero equipment upgrade, we'll get that as well. And then I would go for aero department focus, but I don't want it to affect other departments. So we'll go for simulator training, even though realistically it won't do much for Aaron Barnes. Again, this is still glitched out, but we've got a few development updates there, nothing too major. So 1,390 R&D points. Let's go ahead and have a little look at what we can do. So we're going to go back to the powertrain. We've got, I believe, 2 upgrades on the way. We need to wait for this one until one of the other 2 arrive. We can't buy this right now, so that'll be on standby. On the chassis, we've got the heat dispersing wheel rims. I feel like the fuel tank positioning could be a big one for weight redistribution, so we're going to go ahead and get that on. 28% failure chance, pretty decent, and we should get that on before the next race as well, so that could be massive for us, and it's going to help us really close that gap to the top 4 teams, as you can see on the right hand side. So with that done, I think we can now move into a bit of a time sim and see if all these things arrive according to plan. Hopefully we should be level 15 if we're lucky. So let's go through parts. First and foremost, we now have more R&D points to spend. We've arrived at the season break and we're now sitting on $12 million. We don't quite have level 15 yet on team acclaim, so hopefully we'll achieve that in the next episode. But crucially, the pistons have arrived, which means we can now go ahead and add to the engine upgrades and add another one. So pistons done, we can now do the ECU, which is going to be fuel efficiency. It's not a big thing, it's not super urgent, but it is heavily discounted. I feel like it could help us out, and I don't think I'll need any more after this, but we'll go for that. and get... Actually, no. I haven't got enough. I'm 1 point off. I need one more R&D point. That's unreal. Never mind. We will go for the crankshaft instead then, because we can afford this one. So let's go for that instead. So there we go. We've done our upgrades and all of our work. And we're now ready for a season break, which we'll pick up in the next episode, guys. So hopefully you enjoyed this one here today. If you did, leave a like, subscribe for more. Try and smash, guys, over 1,300 likes for a race win here today. History has been made, so any support on this would be massive. Subscribe for more daily F1 content and more legendary moments like the one you saw here today. And finally, check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them already. And I'll see you guys in my next episode. Until then, take care, and it's goodbye from me.